So I don't yet have a new psychedelic experience that I can talk about just because I'm still in a sort of iffy state, and I think it has to do with just loneliness that I feel because like I'm away from my social circle a lot of the time. I don't get to see them as often as I should, and I think that that's kind of what messes with my head a little bit. I think if I was around people that I felt at home with or comfortable with, then it would be a different scenario. I was also thinking about like trying to network more by finding like public pianos and playing on them because when I did that when I was younger, I had a lot of people like approach me and want to interact with me. So I think that would help me out. But the problem is that there's no public pianos that I know about, especially in Toronto. They used to have a Play Me on Yours program, but now they don't. But anyways, enough about that. I want to talk about an experience that I had like years ago, and it started when um, a friend gave me a tab of 25I-NBOMe, and I knew that this was like that actual chemical, like it wasn't sold as like LSD or anything, but I wanted to try it just to know what the experience was like. Um, a lot of people say that it's like a very dangerous chemical, and I can probably see why that would be because it definitely felt very synthetic and very unnatural. Like there was since it's a phenethylamine based, like a lot of those are uh, stimulating in a certain sense, and this one it felt like some sort of like very synthetic, like dirty stimulation, but like and the visuals were very different from like LSD. Like I don't think there was much patterning as much. Well, there was, but it was like a very perception change in the brightness that I was experiencing. Like it's very hard to put my finger on it, but it felt very synthetic, like the most synthetic thing that I've ever experienced. So I didn't really think that that was something that would be good to really try to get deep into because like I've heard a lot of complications that people had with taking it, but like I only had one tab, so it wasn't really too much. But I remember that at the peak, I ended up smoking DMT. So this trip was very different. I think like it the synergy that it had with the 25I was kind of um, I wouldn't say like off-putting, but it was just it seemed like it was a very weird combination. Like it didn't have the same sort of shamanic presence to it. I think like it was kind of like a synthetic version of a DMT trip, if you can call it that. I still had like visions, but it was so long ago I can't remember exactly what I saw. But it definitely like it was much more powerful in terms of like the body load. I think like it was a very body heavy trip, and like I remember that like I was I felt like I was more likely to throw up from smoking DMT, like one on 25I, and like some other psychedelics will do that too, but this one I felt like it was more likely. Like it just felt um, like really energetic, but in a weird sort of chemical way. Um, Other than that, I think the 25I it lasted like I think it lasts like a little bit longer than LSD. It doesn't last as long as like DOI or DOB. Those ones actually last for like 30 hours, like something crazy. I'll probably talk about those ones later if I ever get the chance to. But the concept of taking 25I think that it's probably too dangerous. Like I think there's way better chemicals out there. Like it is interesting, but it's just like it's so different and so foreign that it feels almost wrong. I think, and I I think that that's pretty much the impression that I got from it. I do want to know if other people have like a different experience with it or like a different impression of it. I know that with me, like a lot of it was mental too. Like it was, yeah, like it was more of a mental and a body load kind of experience, and the visuals were just more of a perception change and like a brightness dialing up, like a very weird sort of synthetic brightness. But anyways, yeah, like if someone feels sort of similar about what they experienced on 25i, I would be happy to like read about it if you guys post it, and hopefully I'll know more about 25i and like what you guys think. So I'll see you later.